Asylum seeker attacks ex-Muslim roommate in the UK, quote, motivated by Gaza. In a distressing case unfolding in the United Kingdom, 45-year-old Moroccan asylum seeker Ahmed Alid stands accused of murdering 70-year-old Terrence Carney and attempting to murder his housemate Javed Nouri in Hartlepool. The violence, according to the prosecution at the Crown Court, was driven by Alid's reaction to the Israel-Hamas conflict in Gaza. Prosecutor Jonathan Sandiford KC described how Alid, harboring extreme views, assaulted Nouri on October 15th, 2023, after breaking into his room at 4 a.m. Alid, who shouted Allahu Akbar, God is great, stabbed Nouri near the heart and continued attacking even as Nouri tried to defend himself. Alid reportedly acted out of a belief that Nouri, being a Christian convert, was an apostate deserving of death. Alid's rampage did not stop with Nouri. He fatally stabbed Carney several times as the pensioner was out for a morning walk. Sandiford highlighted Alid's motivations, stating he attacked to, quote, further his desire that Palestine would be free from Zionists, and chillingly added, quote, the defendant said that he would have killed more people if he had been able to do so. This case paints a grim picture of how deeply held beliefs can manifest into violent actions, impacting the lives of individuals and their communities. So, let me provide a
It's
lot of
Islam
background
too.
about this.
Let me just be clear. It's not all deeply held beliefs. There are other most deeply held beliefs does not cause you to do such things. It's
Mhm.
Islam that it causes you among all the beliefs. But go on.
So let me provide some background about what happened here because there's a lot to unpack here. So this story is coming to light now because this happened back in October, but the court proceedings are happening now. So we're getting more information now about this event. So let me explain some things. Okay. So there is this man, 45-year-old uh, Ahmed Alid from Morocco. He is living in a public housing kind of unit with other people who are seeking asylum. He had two roommates. Both of his roommates are also asylum seekers, but his roommates are from Iran. And they're kind of like a slightly younger guys. I know that Javed Nouri was like 31 years old. And what happened is about 3 months before this attack, Javad Nouri moves into this flat with his new roommate. So he's like a newer guy in the mix. The other roommate, who's also from Iran, I can't remember his first name, but his last name is Karimi. And so Karimi and Nouri are living in this apartment with Alid. And Alid is very extreme in his views. And he will not allow the rest of his roommates to have alcohol in the apartment, which is, it's like their apartment too. They're allowed to have whatever they want. And slowly, Alid begins to realize that Nouri is a Christian. Apparently, there were reports that at first Alid thought that Nouri was also a Muslim because he was very clean and he associated having a lot of cleanliness as being a sign of a good Muslim. Well, eventually, he begins to realize that they don't really do Islamic things. This Karami, he drinks beer, he has a girlfriend. Nouri, he's not praying, and he starts to realize that Nouri is an ex-Muslim Christian who attends church services every Sunday. And this starts to cause a problem in their unit. And Nouri was telling other people in his Christian community that he was afraid preceding the attack. He was telling people in his church that he would volunteer with that he was fearful about how this guy was intimidating, how this guy hated him, how this guy hated apostates, would talk about how he hated apostates. And there was an incident where Ahmed Alid was brandishing a knife around their apartment, being threatening. And they called the police, and the police said, "Oh, well, it's within his apartment, so it's not a crime." And so what happened on the day of October 15th is that at 4 a.m., Javad Nouri was sleeping in his bed. All of a sudden, at 4 a.m., Alid bursts into the room, screaming Allahu Akbar, brandishing a knife, and starts attacking Javad Nouri while he's sleeping. He stabs him in the chest, he stabs him in the neck, and he stabs him in the face. So Javad Nouri is gonna be publicly physically scarred for like the rest of his life. So, and this is an ex-Muslim that was trying to communicate to the authorities that he was in danger in his public housing unit provided by the government for asylum seekers preceding the attack. And so he barely manages to like fight off Alid. I don't really know the details. Apparently, he was brandishing two knives. The other guy, Karami, wakes up, calls the authorities. Somehow or another, Alid leaves the unit, and then after attacking Nouri, goes into the street. He goes into the street and attacks just a random 70-year-old man that he saw walking down the street in the morning. And he murdered this random pensioner and then told authorities he did it because of Gaza and wanting Palestine to be free of Zionists, and he would have killed more people if he could. At that time that he said that, he was under the belief that he had murdered Javad Nouri. And he was obviously taken into custody by the authorities, and now he's standing trial. And so I wanted to highlight this because we talk all the time about how we deal with ex-Muslims who are part of our community who constantly reach out to us expressing how they are very much in danger. A lot of them are from Iran. Like they went through hell in Iran. They managed to escape. They managed to get to a third country to try to seek asylum through methods that are often very dangerous. And then when they're finally in this country where they think that they can finally be safe and free, they're actually even more in danger in these public housing facilities that the government puts together for asylum seekers because they're in close quarters with people who are very extremist often. And I have to write letters to their social workers explaining why they are in danger and urging their social workers to give them new housing, to move them to a different unit. Because a lot of these social workers don't understand the danger that they're in. Or I've had scenarios with our atheist public members who are ex-Muslims where they're working within the system to try to get medical care or to try to get their benefits or to try to get their case approved. And there are Muslims working within the system that actually actively sabotage their cases when they realize that they are ex-Muslim, and that's why they're seeking asylum. So there are certain social workers that are actively sabotaging the cases of ex-Muslim asylum seekers and getting paid by their national government to do so. Because a lot of countries do not understand the situation of ex-Muslims at all. There was a situation where in the UK, one of my friend's dads is an outspoken critic of Islam, and he was concerned about some threats that he was facing, and he was trying to report it to police. The police in the United Kingdom understood the situation so badly that they specifically sent a Muslim police officer to be the one to take his story. And he felt more threatened and endangered. So he didn't like actually make the report. Like, this is the situation we're talking about here. And this is because, like, and so I lived in Europe not too long ago for a few months. And one thing I noticed that I thought was so funny was that when I would talk to my friends or people living there about various situations, how do they feel about immigration? How do they feel about, asylum seekers, blah, blah, blah. The like ethnically European people would be like very bleeding heart, blah, blah, blah. But the people that were the strictest on immigration and asylum seeking that I met when I was living there were immigrants and refugees from Islamic countries themselves. Armin can attest to this when we were in Germany together. They were like, Susanna, you do not understand what these people are inviting into their country. They don't understand because I have had to live with it in very close quarters and live in fear from it. Um, and I thought it was so funny that the people that were most hardcore against this immigration into Europe were immigrants themselves. But Armin, can you talk about that because you were there with me for
Remember,
part of that.
remember Muhammad that he was in Germany, part of this whole process. Well, he was, being given housing. He was
Yeah,
scared.
for people who don't know what Armin is talking about, he's talking about Egyptian ex-Muslim atheist Mohammed Hisham.
Yeah, remember when he was in the housing that they were giving him for he was terrified. The people that he were next to, like he was afraid. He was more afraid there than he was afraid in Egypt, right? Also, we have friends on our Persian side who are right now also in housings in these asylums. They're terrified. They're next to people, like sometimes when they're on our show, like or in the Persian Discord server, they're like speaking so quietly. He was like, and we asked him like, oh, is somebody sleep next to you? It's like, no, these walls are thin, and I'm surrounded by terrorists in this. Like these people would like they will kill me. Like he really believed that if they could hear him, he will be dead. Like if people could hear that he's speaking about ex-Muslim related atheism, ex-Muslim related stuff, and they were afraid in these asylum housing units. Then they were back in their own country. That's how dire the situation was. And also, we have to give a huge shout out to Rana, who in Germany is trying to. I don't know if she's been successful, but she herself like fled Saudi Arabia and came to Germany, and now she's a free girl. But she also had a really bad experience, and she is doing activism in Germany, trying to separate ex-Muslim asylum refugees from all the other Muslims. They're like, you cannot house these people together. That doesn't make any sense, right? But when she was in these housings, remember she was like, I don't know what she was doing with the Quran. She was putting signs like showing her, what was she doing with the Quran, that her asylum, like the people there, like, you cannot do that, you will die.
I don't know,
Remember
but she
that?
had no chill.
Right, she had no chill. It was pretty crazy. But anyway, yeah, this is a known issue. I don't know why, like here's the thing. A lot of these activists who are trying to get these governments to understand that you need to separate these people, they didn't even have an understanding. I don't this was years ago. I hope by now they have a better understanding, but they didn't even have an understanding of this concept of ex-Muslim. They were like, these, you need to separate these people. And the people that this was being communicated with in Germany, at least, they were like, they are the same culture. These are people that are coming from the same place. We will put them together because they're all coming from there. I'm like, no, they're not. Like, they were trying to be clear. They're not the same. They are different. These ex-Muslims are not the same as the other ones. You have to separate them. But
Not to
anyways,
mention that's a bad idea anyways, because that like immediately ghettoizes people. I don't know why Europe like they keep on making the mistake over and over again. Yeah.
well, because it's really hard to. I mean, it's really hard to just like make like this to just mix them in. Like that's also a hard problem.
Yeah.
It's yeah,
No, it's a tough scenario. Like even here in my city, I have a friend who's a refugee from Iran, and I go visit
yeah.
him down in his public housing unit, and it's like little Somalia. Like in he coming from his background, he's really disturbed seeing all these little girls who are like probably less than 16 years old. Excuse me, not 16, 6, like running around in hijabs.
Mm.
He's like, "What the I'm in America. What the um yeah.
Okay, so we have a
It's
whole
actually
bunch
really
of
funny when I go visit him there. Some of the some of the people in the housing, because he's Iranian, but he looks very like I guess more white technically. He's like very light and has like blue eyes. And so sometimes some of his and when I go visit him, his neighbors comment on us. They're like, "Oh, we get white people here now." I'm like, "Hi." Anyways, um we got a bunch of super chats. Let's go. Oh, okay, Enrique. He is finally a minion, as he said. Thank you, Enrique, for becoming a minion. And you figured out how to join. Fantastic. Um,
thank you.
oh, Reincarnation Entertainment. Welcome back. It's good to see you. Thank you for becoming a member again. And Erican gave a super chat saying Islamism, Christianism, and all other form of religious extremism are bad and are politically dangerous. I would agree. Fundamental militancy is why we cannot
Right.
have nice things.
Yes. However, let's not make that mistake. They're not equally dangerous. They're all dangerous, but it's impossible for them to be all equally dangerous. Some of them are a lot more dangerous than the others. When I say Islam, by the way, it's not Islamism, it's Islam. There is no difference between Islam and Islamism. Okay, so let's just use the right word. It's not Islamism that is dangerous, it's Islam that is dangerous, right? And but with a huge margin when it comes to being dangerous, I understand that all religions are dangerous, but Islam's danger is much higher, and it's not even close. So let's remember that.
Yeah, but some many Muslims are not Islamists. That's the difference.
Okay, so no, that's true. That's true. Okay, so Muslim and Islamist, I understand the difference between those two, but there's no difference between Islam and Islamism. If you want to separate the people and you want to say Muslim and Islamist, I agree with the separation of the people. Okay, but there is no ideology that you could separate. So Islam and Islamism are the same thing, but I understand the difference between Muslim and Islamist.
Yeah. Some of
An
the most
Islamist,
hardcore.
an Islamist is a Muslim who truly understands Islam. But go on. That's the definition.
Right when I was about to say that some of the most hardcore anti-Islamists I know are Muslims.
Right.
Um, Erican also gave another super chat saying they are leaving Islam to rejoin. I don't understand what you're referring to here, but thank you for the super chat.
To
Um,
rejoin Christianity, I think. Yeah. I think it's like
oh,
I think he's saying like they're just leaving one toxic ideology for another. That's what he's saying. I
oh.
think.
Um,
I agree. Yeah.
all colors are entombed in black are saying I've also posted a video on Gnosticism and Islam on Instagram. I think maybe I follow you on Instagram. Um, Angie Unier gave us $5. Thank you, Angie, saying, I didn't know about this one. Thank you for bringing this story. Europe, wake up. Why people need to be sacrificed until you figure out what's the problem. Yeah, there's just such a poor understanding of the diversity within groups from different areas of the world. Um, it's actually crazy. Like people don't understand that there are minorities within a minority. And Araxon UK gave us £5. Thank you, Araxon.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Wait.
and
One
another
more
super
super
chat
chat.
from Erican saying,
Yes.
yeah, Islamic Sufism is heavily Gnostic.
Sufism.
Sufism? Oh, okay. Okay, yes, that's true.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you.
This next
Oh,
one.
we
Oh,
got
and then,
another super chat.
oh my God, guys. Reincarnation Entertainment. Thank you for the super chat saying in the UK, who do I vote for? Consider supporting Armin. Well, as a registered 501c3, we cannot tell you who to vote for.
Right.
Also, I do not think that Armin, I don't know if you can do write-ins in the UK, but I do not believe that you can write in Mr. Armin Navabi because he's not a UK citizen. I don't believe he can serve in parliament.
I think those are two separate messages. I think that's a question and also people asking people here to support Armin.
Okay. Fair enough. But I do like
Yeah.
the sound of MP Armin.
Yeah, I like that too.
MP
Oh,
Navabi.
we got another super chat.
All colors are entombed in black, saying, by the way, ethnic Europeans is a generalization. Is that what I said?
Ethnic Europeans is a generalization. It's not a generalization. You could
Well,
be
then how
ethnically
do you
European.
describe the people where their ethnic heritage is from Europe?
How is that a generalization?
Because there are people that fit that description. I fit that description.
Ethnically European. Explain to us, how is that a generalization? Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, and we also got Michelle gifting 5 membership. Guys, if you are a new member, use the emoticons. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Kenny saying
All right.
ethnic Europeans is broad but not wrong. That's exactly why I said that.
Yes, it's broad, but it's not wrong. Yeah, we have a thing called, it's a thing. It's not a, here's the thing, it's not a very accurate, like
No.
the lines are not, yeah, but you don't have it to be. A word that you use, it doesn't have to be completely accurate for it to have utility in using. Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.